How is everybody doing? I hope that you guys can hear me correctly. I am in a room that's echoey, so I'm using earpiece right here. So welcome. This is the 6th video that I'm doing, and I'm featuring people, and my goal is to keep it raw and real and completely organic and get their winning freaking stories. So before I start, let me invite her real quickly here. Wait, nope, that's the wrong button. There you go, invite friends. So I appreciate everyone that's watching this or watching the replay. Hold on. Shh. So this is my friend Shazia, and I will tell you guys how we met in a second. A-T-L-E. So hold on a second. Okay, okay, she wants me to invite her on a business page, but it's not popping up. I had a feeling this would happen. Right? So, I don't know, girl. Shazia. I'm just going to have to do her, her normal page, and then I'll tell her that she can share it on her business page. Okay? Okay. Hi, 2 viewers. How y'all doing? So I'm gonna wait for her to get on, and while I do that, the reason why I chose to just come out with a series with me and people that I know that have winning stories is because I want to show people, I want to really reveal the realness of what winning looks like. You know, we look at the big wins. I'm here to talk about the small wins, because that's literally what it takes to get there. And we don't hear those stories often enough. We really don't. Hey girl, the business page did not work, so I see her. She on. I think she just requested to be on. Yep. I approve on. So I'm so excited, you guys. I'm gonna wait for her to get on. And we didn't prep for this or anything. We've just been texting to set a time to do this. So I love keeping it raw and vulnerability all over the place. Yes, hi.
Yay, it worked. I've been sitting here I'm ready.
You look ready, girl. You look so ready. Hey, Dana. Dana's on here. Whoop, whoop. Can you hear me correct? Is it too echoey? I'm using my earpiece, so it's not too echoey, but.
I hear you.
Oh, you hear me good? Okay. Perfect. Okay, you guys. Well, this is my friend Shazia right here. We've enrolled ourselves. I met her at ALA, which is a leadership academy program. And we are on almost at the weekend 4. There's 5 weekends in this, and it's been intense. It's been fun. It's been humbling and heartwarming and everything. But I'm excited to have her here with me because she is someone who just stood out as someone willing to be vulnerable. You're willing to stand for women, and I just love your courageousness and all that. And I know there's a lot of pain in these stories too. You know what I mean? And just how you were able to create a podcast. And I remember you said something about, it's people listen from all over the world. You just don't know who's freaking listening or freaking watching, right? So yeah, but before we get started, I want to do a pop round of questions just to break the ice. Cool?
Cool. And thank you for all those kind words, Quinn. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. You're so great, man. You're glowing. You're glowing. And I know we've been talking about doing this.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, this artwork is by someone named Gale Hart. I have to give credit, right? Because this is a very interesting piece of art here. Gale Hart, people. So the first question is, in 10 or 20 seconds, how would you describe yourself?
Oh my gosh, I can't describe myself in just 10 to 20 seconds.
Oh, okay, then it should be easy then.
No, I'm just really open, fun. I love to really connect with people, and I love to live life easy. I think I didn't live life easy for a long time. I'm sure we'll talk about it later. And so now I just like to really have fun and just kind of go with the flow. A lot of my life now is being in the imperfection. So I'm an imperfect woman.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, that was it. That was my only question that I had for the icebreaker. Just so people get an idea, Okay, so yeah, can we go back to that real quick? I just have so many questions, but you've mentioned how your life is easy now.
Hmm.
Okay. So how was it not easy, and what did it take for you to make it easy?
Okay, well, I'll talk about it from two different perspectives.
Okay.
So let me just talk about from the day-to-day perspective, what makes it really easy right now. So
Mm.
I had made a choice a long time ago that I just didn't want to live the status quo, right? Like I didn't want to be on the hamster wheel. I didn't want to like just do what everybody said to do. And I actually remember this
Mm-hmm.
conversation I had with a really good friend of mine. I think we were back like it was in our mid 20s. And I was like, oh, I just don't want to commute. I just don't want to have a long commute. I used to live in the DC area, and I was like, I don't want to have this long commute to work. And she was like, but that's just what you do. And I was like, no, I want to work from home. I want to work from home. That's it. I just want to. And I didn't know how it would happen at the time because I had to go into an office. And lo and behold, I ended up working from home. Long story short, I've been working from home for so many years now, I've lost track.
Wow.
And so number one, that has made life super easy, right? Like if you don't have to drive into an office, like it makes life 10 times. So that's one thing I do. I also like to manage my time really well. I actually have this freebie called the 10 Secrets to More Time because I realized that
Mm.
I just have these things that I do in my life. For example, simple things like just blocking activities together, right? Like when I go to run errands, I put everything in at the same time rather than like going one time here and then 2 hours later somewhere there. And we can do that with the tasks in our life too, right? So, really sort of streamlining my life has really helped to make things easy. So, those are kind of the things on the surface, right? And that's a good start
Mm.
to make life more balanced and easy. The final thing I'll say about that is learning how to say no to things.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes.
Huge struggle for so many people, including myself, you know. I love to
Hmm.
people please. But anyway,
Totally.
continue. Yeah.
Totally. I am the queen of people pleasing, or I used to be. And being able to say no, being able to know your limitations, being able to know what even you just want to do or don't want to do. You don't even have to have a reason. Being able to say no to the things you don't want to do and say yes to the things you want to do opens up a lot of time and it just makes life easier because how many times
Mm.
do we say yes to something? We say yes, but guess what? We don't want to do it and we don't follow through, right?
Mm.
We don't
Mm.
follow through. We feel bad about ourselves. We resent that we have to do it. The other person's just feeling like, where are you? What's going on? And it's like, if you had just been honest in the first place, you know, it's a little bit of awkwardness maybe in the beginning. And sometimes it's not even awkward. We feel like it might be
Yeah.
awkward.
Mm.
And then everybody's on the same page and everybody can breathe easier, right? So those are my surface things. Now, the deeper things, if
Yes,
you want
that's
to
what
hear
I
about
like.
that.
Oh yeah, let's go deep. Let's just dive in. Let's just dive in a
Okay,
little
let's
bit.
dive in.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that really made my life very, very, very difficult for a long time is that I used to really want to be perfect.
Oh,
And
yes. This revealed in our ALA. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I spent my whole life trying to be really perfect. And at the time, I didn't use the word. I was really trying to live a life that was normal because I feel like I grew up not normal and not like the way that everybody else in my community grew up. And so I constantly felt like if I could just be normal, then I will be accepted. And if I check off all the boxes, then I'm going to get to fit in and I'm going to be like, I'm going to somehow get the gold star of gold stars. And
Mm,
be amazing, right? So I spent so much time trying to be perfect. That meant getting, really good grades, getting a great job, marrying a great guy, doing all of these things along the way. But many times it meant having to show up perfectly, having to show up a certain way. And it took a lot of energy, right?
whew, yeah, yeah.
It takes so much energy to show up a certain way all the time. And in the end, what happened is I built up my life to all these things. And I thought I was going to get like the final check mark. I really thought that I was going to get that white picket fence dream of living in a single family
Mm,
home in the perfect zip code with like the husband, 2.5 kids, minivan in the driveway, and hosting amazing dinner parties, looking beautiful, right?
Sounds kind of great, but yeah.
Yeah, right. And just be like the quintessential woman and have everything. And when I was 28, we got pregnant,
Mm.
and I was so excited because like this was kind of like, okay, the child, and then we were going to buy the home and like sign, seal, delivered. And Quinn,
Mm.
you know this story, but I don't know
I
if
do.
people watching know. But when I went into labor earlier than expected, and it was
Hmm.
completely unexpected. And um, and I actually had to go to the ER, and the they had to call my OB in, and I remember her. She came in and she sat with us, and I don't really share like this level of detail, but I'm going to share it with you because it really
Yeah.
shows kind of the gravity of what happened. I just remember her sitting there at the end of the table, and she looks at me, and she looks at my husband and I, and she says, she has tears in her eyes, and she's like, "You are going to lose your baby is in the birth now, and we don't know if your baby is even going to come out whole." Because it was like at a sort of time where it was far enough along that the baby was there, I was delivering, but it wasn't that far enough that she knew exactly what would happen because the baby was still so fragile.
Mm.
And I just remember crying. Like I remember putting my head in my husband's chest and like sobbing and like looking at his hand and thinking like what like like yesterday I was holding my belly and talking to my baby boy,
Oh my God.
and now she's
Mm.
telling me like my baby could actually come out in pieces. Like
Wow.
um, the blessing is that I went into labor. She's like, we're gonna go into labor, and in that first push, he came out and he was alive.
Hmm.
He was so perfect. And he was like this, like he was little.
Like a peanut size, newborn, like just
And
peanuts.
he
Yeah.
was, yeah.
That's, yeah.
And I just remember holding him and looking at him, and that feeling that everybody talks about, that the moment you hold your baby, you feel so much
Mm.
love. Like I felt it. I felt it. I felt it. I felt it. And he was so perfect. And I nicknamed him Chotu Sonu, which means
Mm.
little love in Urdu, the native language of my parents who are from India. And he was a spitting image of my husband, by the way. I'm like,
Oh my
seriously, like you
goodness.
couldn't take any of these features. Like, come on. And those moments I got to spend with him, those few hours I got to spend with him were amazing. And and to me that was the greatest blessing because if anything else had happened, I don't know that I could have handled it. And um,
Mm.
we buried him the next day. And I remember as the coffin was going into the ground, again, I just put my head on my husband's chest and I cried because it was not just burying my son, but it was burying these dreams I had. It was like
Mhm.
watching these dreams be buried into the ground. And
Mm.
it was such a catalyst for change in my life. Our marriage did end, um, which often happens after couples lose a child. And that's a whole different story, a whole nother long story.
Mm. Yes.
And the piece I'll say about that is that I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was. So when my son left, right? When my husband left, I had no idea who I was.
This is such a moment. This is huge. And I wonder if anyone else out there where it's like, yeah, you're trying to literally mold your life into what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up losing everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, so I'm just imagining, well, I mean, we've all had that. We're like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
What? Anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
you were just like looking at your life, that everything left your dreams,
Yeah.
your dear precious baby boy and your husband just I feel like it
Gone.
just is like faded away or like I don't know what like how it was for you, how you felt when it just happened, but
Yeah. I mean, to me, it just felt like I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who I would be without these things because that's how I built my life. That's what I'd been
mm,
socialized to do too. Like, I really, as an Asian woman growing up here, like with all the pressures of having to be well educated, have a family, do everything right, have kids,
mhm,
I thought I was nothing. I thought I was nothing.
mm,
And I wished my life would end. I used to wish that a car would come and hit me so
wow.
that I would die.
Mm,
I used to wish that. And when I say it now, like, it pains me to say that because if, the words coming out of my mouth, if somebody were to come and say that to me, I'd be like, no, your life is worth so much more.
yes.
At the
Hmm.
time, I was so defined by all of these external things, all of these things that I'd worked so hard to create. And it set me, like you said, when things happen, when everything kind of just in your life, like literally falls apart, when everything that you imagined doesn't fall into place, when everything looks like you're literally in the middle of a typhoon, it's actually because there's something more. And I had to go on a journey to discover myself. I
Oh
had to
yeah.
go on a journey to discover who I am. I had to go discover who's Shazia. I mean, I literally had no idea. And what I found was actually really awesome.
Yes. No,
And
I oh love that. Yeah.
and I got to just explore so many more things, and I got to see that life is not just worth living, but life is so much more. It is so much more than the external
Mm,
things that we use to define us. And that is why I feel that life is easier now because I don't use external things to define me. I I did get remarried to a wonderful man. I have a beautiful stepdaughter. I'm doing work
mm,
that is so purposeful, but you know what, Quinn? Those things are good. But you know what really, really matters is that I'm
mm.
here. I am me. I am worthy,
Oh yes.
right?
Yes. Gosh, man, and like thank you so much for sharing that, the vulnerability part. I have to ask this question. So literally feeling like you don't know who you are, like basically rock bottom, everything left that was so precious to you.
Mm-hmm.
You had all that picture. From your journey of discovering yourself to, like you said, you actually found out pretty awesome things about yourself. And you
Mm-hmm.
realize life isn't that bad. It could be easier. But what was one of the very first like aha or breakthroughs, literally from like finding about who you are and then like, finding so much light in your life? What was one of like do you remember like one of like the biggest like perspectives that just like you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
remember.
yes, please share.
I
Yeah.
remember. I remember I was walking on the W&OD trail. For anybody who is
Mm,
from Virginia, it's this beautiful trail. And I was walking on it. And I remember literally stopping in my tracks and saying to myself, I have low self-esteem.
hmm.
And to me, it was a really big realization because you would have never guessed that about me. Again, I'm out there, I'm still trying to put on a perfect face, a perfect everything,
Mm,
trying to put it together,
mm.
even though I was even homeless too. And I didn't even
Oh,
share the
wow.
homelessness story, but I was homeless
Wow.
for a while too. So living out of my car. And I just remember standing and saying, I have low self esteem. And
Mm,
I made a decision in that moment. I acknowledged it and I said, I'm going to work on it. I said, the same way people work on like trying to get healthier and try to lose weight or trying to learn something new, I am going to work on my self esteem. And
mm.
the first thing I did is I went back in and I wrote down a list of 100 dreams, which at the time wasn't 100. Okay, I think I could only come up with three. It was very hard to dream at that time.
You said so like you were listing dreams?
Dreams.
Dream. Dreams.
Dream.
Okay.
Yeah, like a bucket list. Let's say a bucket list.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
like a bucket list. And so one of the first things I put on there was to take swim lessons. So I signed up for swim lessons. And I
Hmm.
remember the teacher being like, "Why are you signing up for swimming lessons?" And I'm like, "I'm working on my self-esteem."
I love it. I love this. I cannot tell you how much I love this. And just to, I want to talk about this real quick. You wouldn't have had that realization if you were not by yourself.
No, and if I hadn't, this is when I was at rock bottom. It's
Yeah.
like
Like,
I'm by myself, I'm at rock bottom, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have low self-esteem. Like I was deluding myself. I
I
had
like
put
that
on such an
diluting.
air that even I had deluded myself. Because underneath all of the things, all the external things, right? Deep down
Oof.
inside, I didn't feel good about myself. I
Mm.
didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel that I deserved anything. And I was willing to just live. I wasn't willing to just live that life anymore. Like that was a
Mm.
decision point.
Mm.
And anytime I would do something new and people would ask me, "Why are you doing this?" I would tell them, "I'm working on my self-esteem."
What was the other two on your list? Okay, so it was swimming lessons, and what are the other two that you came up with to work on your self-esteem?
Oh my gosh. I think it's hard to remember.
I know
That
we're
was the
going way
main
back.
thing. Yeah, I have to I can't remember what they were, but what I
Mm.
will say is I kept going back to that list and I kept adding more and more things. Because
Wow.
when I first started it, it was very difficult for me to even come up with things that I wanted to do because not feeling worthy, not feel like my low self-esteem, who am I to do anything? So it was hard for me to
Hmm.
even think outside of the box. So I started that. I found a hip hop class. I
Oh my
started,
God.
that
I
was
love it.
really, really fun.
I love
Really
this.
fun. Um, I started trying new restaurants. I think I put on there like try a new restaurant once a month. And um, the other thing I started doing was I started traveling. Like I started just saying yes
Mm.
to a lot of stuff. And then some of the big stuff over the year that I did as I traveled internationally, I took flying trapeze lessons, which was
Oh my
amazing.
God. Look, so you went on an adventure with yourself. That's what I'm hearing. You chose to go
Yeah,
on an adventure with yourself. Were some of these trips with other people or was just solely you? You're like, it's me and my lone, like myself. And
both, both.
I love it. But you decided to just not be in that rut anymore. You just, yeah, you took yourself out on an adventure. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's a great way
Like,
to
I'm going to
describe
live.
it. That's a great way to describe it. Going on an adventure with myself because I had been living like in my own cave for so long. So it was finally time to be like, who am I? And the more I traveled, the more I did things, the more I met people, the more I was like, gosh, the world is such a big place. I
Mm,
I have so much in me too to be a part of this world, right? Instead of being in this like
wow.
little bubble that I
Yes.
had put for myself, that I believed was everything. So, of course, in that little bubble, I didn't fit in. Of course not. But when I went
Mm.
out into the world and when I tried all these new things, there's so much more out there than what I could just see with my naked eye.
So seeing, huh? Seeing expands everything. So
Yeah.
how did you get to podcast casting? And then before we end, I want to get into your poop analogy that you discovered. You have that. But let's just talk about your podcast. I do want to highlight that because through your journey, how did you transition into like, yeah, what I'm thinking is like you found your voice
I
and you're
did.
like, I want to put it out there and then podcast. So can you tell us a little bit about that story and where people can find your
Absolutely.
podcast? And I will put it on here too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So through this whole journey, I ended up stepping into my calling, which is in this personal growth space. So I am a life coach. And
Mm-hmm.
this year, after, I've been a life coach now for several years, and this year it came up really strong that my voice had to be out there and my intuition was saying podcast. And I'm like,
Okay.
okay. So I started it. It's called Feminine and Fulfilled. And it's so similar to what you're doing right now, Quinn, talking to powerhouse women and having just raw, unscripted conversations because the
Yes.
best stuff comes out of just conversation, just connecting. The
Yeah.
real inspiration just comes from when we share. We share our stories. We take off all of the masks and all the stuff and even the makeup. I mean, although to be honest, I'm not going to come on live with no makeup. I'm still
Just a little touch up, like just a little bit,
just a little bit.
The lighting matters too. Yeah.
I'm still going to hold on to that. But
Thank you, Yasmin. Yeah. Yasmin, I think she knows you. I think she follows you or she's friends with you. Yasmin?
Oh,
she's
yes,
on here.
Yes,
she put. Yeah, she's there and she put it for you. She put Feminine and Fulfilled. So everyone, that's her podcast right there. She texted it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And she is actually on episode number 3. Her episode is fantastic. She's a comedian, a lawyer, an activist, a relationship consultant. Listen to hers. It is so good. She talks about the bully that she basically beat up. So
I love it.
So Feminine Fulfilled is just it's just this project, and I love to chat with women. So I have those conversations, and then I do my monologues. I do the F word monologue every other week, and I just talk about an F word. And my latest one that is coming up is on, oh my gosh, I just recorded it.
I love that. So see, you're inspiring me. I mean, like I'm doing these Facebook Live stuff, but yeah, it's basically my podcast or my whatever, I can strip it and then turn it into an audio. Yeah. Hi, everybody that's watching,
this episode is on being fulfilled. It's on being fulfilled.
Yes. Okay.
So I highly recommend that. It's dropping in a few days. I highly recommend that one because if you really want to get, if you want your life to transform, I'm kicking your butt in that one. To transform. So that's what I've been doing. The podcast. It's so fun. It's so amazing. I love it.
So it showed up for you when did you start this podcast?
I launched it in February.
Okay, of this year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Awesome.
And it's being listened to in 6 continents, literally except Antarctica.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that because like I was saying in the beginning of this, like you just started it and then you're like, you don't know who's going to watch. And then you said 6 countries. It's
6
reaching.
continents. 6 continents.
Continents, you guys.
Yeah.
All right. That is very inspiring, you guys. And I love it that you said.
It's so easy, Quinn. That's the other thing I want to say. It's been really easy.
Okay.
So I do want to say that when your intuition says something, trust it. Because right? I was doing a lot of other stuff in my business. It felt really hard. And then the intuition said podcast. I've been doing it. It is so easy. It's so fun. I love it. It's a lot of work, but I love it.
Yes.
And flow. So it's all about finding your flow, whatever it is for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. See, and the more that you listen, would you say to your intuition, things will freaking flow? You're like, all of a sudden, I feel like life is flowing because I'm listening to my intuition. I call it listening to yourself. Like you're listening to your true self, like the real you inside there that wants to live in flow, right?
Yes.
It wants to live in flow.
It does. I mean, it totally does. Like if you're feeling stuck, like you're doing something's unaligned. It's not you. It's something else. So listen, like you said, listen to yourself.
And it's a practice.
Messaging is there.
Yes, and I do want to mention, like people, like how do you know if it's like real intuition, like gut, Would you say it's those moments where you're like, damn it, I should have went with my gut, should have went with my intuition, should have went with my gut? So that's something to pay attention to. So the next time you feel that, hello. Okay, I should say yes to this because I'm having that same feeling show up. Just wanted to mention that. Okay, let's get to your poop analogy. You texted this, Shazia, you guys texted this to me like, oh, by the way, I just had like a breakthrough analogy, something with poop. And you posted it in our group. Anyways, can you share the poop analogy, please? Please.
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay, so when you guys look at the poo emoji, you know the emoji of the poo that's smiling? So my cousin and I were talking the other day, and she's like, why is the poo emoji smiling? And I'm like, out. It let all that ish out, right? And so it's relief. So think about it. Think about your life and all the poo that you are holding, right? When we are constipated, when we are backed up, when we have all this stuff, right? The shame, the guilt, the regrets, the feeling
Mm,
bad about ourselves, the saying the mean things to ourselves, the not feeling good enough, and we allow that to just sit, it backs up just the same way poo backs up. And when it backs up and you're constipated, it hurts. It
fucking
hurts so
hurts.
bad. Yeah, it does.
Yes,
It hurts so
yes.
bad. So when you have a really good poo, okay, it feels really good. Let's be honest, it feels so good. You're like, oh, right? So
It
we
leaves your body like, psh, it's like release.
release, yes. So what if you do that with all these other things, right? Like all these things you're holding onto, you can release them. You can let them go. You can poo it out so that you can smile like the poo emoji. And if you're looking for a way to do that, okay, like I know we're poking fun, but if you want a practical way to really let go of all of that buildup and all that poo, listen to my episode on feminine and fulfilled on the podcast called Forgiveness. That is
Oof, love it.
episode number 4. It talks about how to let things go, how to forgive, and it's got an amazing exercise in there that is so easy. It is so easy, and it will let you let go of so much stuff. No matter how old, no matter how much, you can let it go because there's that quote that resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Ooh, okay. Oh my gosh, I like that. It's like
Mhm.
wait, say that again. You're drinking poison, but wanting the other person to die.
Yes, that's what
Yes, you're
resentment
drinking the
is.
poison, but yet it's like, gotcha. Killing
Yeah. So
yourself. Basically
you
killing
can let
yourself.
that go. You can let it go. And
Mm.
so check out that episode on Feminine and Fulfilled on the podcast. And it's just your time. It's your time to shed, to let go, to poo it all out, right? And breathe and walk in with a flatter stomach. Walk around with a flatter stomach.
Don't you want that, ladies? Or anyone, every people. Can I add to your poop? Can I add to your poop analogy?
Yeah.
So like so I had really bad constipation when I was healing from surgery. It was effing horrible. It was so horrible, you guys. I was not drinking enough water and I wasn't eating
Hmm.
consistently, right? So let's just say, yeah, all that shit. Anyways, but to help me push it out, I had to like eat and then like think about it. If you eat better stuff, you're pushing the bad shit out too.
Mhm. Yes, you
With
are.
fiber and stuff, if you eat more greens and fiber and stuff, it helps all that shit like
Yeah.
flush out more. Not building
Yeah.
up, but like it'll flush out more. So add more shit, good shit in to push the bad shit out.
Well,
Okay?
yeah,
That's
and
what I'm
it's
trying to
about
say.
exactly feed yourself good stuff. Like, let's go with that analogy. You're right. When you you can get rid of the bad stuff, you start putting in good stuff, start doing good things for yourself. It's not just about letting go of all the bad stuff. What are the good things you're doing for yourself? You
Yeah,
know,
it
do
will
more of
dismiss.
that. So then it's in good flow. It's in good, all everything's in good flow.
I love it. And I love it that you get this because you know what? See this whole conversation. I mean, I put a reminder to mention the poop analogy. I was like, I gotta add that in there. And that's literally all I have on my notes. I put a reminder to share on my page the ice breaking question, which is how would you describe yourself? And then the poop. Now that's literally all I have on my notes. I'm like, look at this ghetto. But then I knew it was gonna flow, and this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Just conversations, no preparation or anything. We're just gonna
Mhm.
have a conversation. And
And
to
that's the
everyone
best
out,
way.
yes, and some people, when you think about like, oh my God, what questions do I ask and stuff? If you're present, if you genuinely care about the person sharing their story, you will know where to go.
Hmm.
That's always worked with me. It's like, okay, it pushes out all the nerves because it's not about me. It's about like getting to know you and like
Hmm.
allowing you to share some really key things that I believe is valuable, that I resonate with. So,
Hmm.
wow, thank you for sharing everything from like, your experience with miscarriage, trying to live or aiming. I mean, that was the goal, to live the perfect life, and how it
Hmm.
just shattered. And then just making a decision, be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna work on self-esteem. Like, that's so powerful, you guys. Anyone that's watching the replay, please rewatch this. I had so much fun with you. Is there anything else that you want to add? I feel like you're flowing. The energy that I'm feeling from you right now is that you're flowing, like, into to master flow, I mean, we're still working on flow, right? We've never arrived. But what are some key things that helps you flow besides living out you said you're like living life imperfectly, you know, but what
Hmm.
are some key things that you haven't mentioned yet that's super helping you flow? Oh yeah, and say no to people too. That's something that you mentioned, but yeah.
Yeah. The two things I'll say is this. When you wake up in the morning, make an intention. We live our lives sometimes like allowing the world to lead our lives, but we have agency to make decisions on how we live our lives. And it's as simple as
Mm-hmm.
making an intention when you wake up in the morning. So I love to tell my listeners this, a simple intention. How do you want today to be? And it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be as simple as I want to show up today as open. I want to show up as free, fun, patient. Whatever word it is, pick one word that you're going to start with your day and set that and I like to tell people to do it as you're opening your eyes because it doesn't
Mm.
require any work. Just as your eyes are opening, if you're having to hit the snooze button, right after you hit the snooze button, whenever it is,
Oh,
just
that's
before you're fully awake.
I'm thinking I got to put a reminder, you know, because we wake up, we don't, it's like, oh, la, 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 you know, it's like, would you say putting a reminder should, because you maybe, you know, for people who are just
Yeah,
starting that, you know, you're going to
yeah.
forget. You're just going to wake up thinking about work right away. Work right away.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
You know what? You could even put it as a screensaver on your phone because let's be honest, what's probably the first thing that we're looking at in the morning, right?
Hmm.
So, whatever you can do to remind yourself, put a post-it note up in the bathroom, because I hope you're brushing your teeth in the morning, wherever it is.
Yes. The bathroom mirror is good.
Yeah. And just,
Mm.
it's so simple. Don't make your intention complicated. Pick one word and allow yourself to decide and make a choice for your day. Make a choice. That would be my first real practical thing, really easy thing you can do.
Mm.
The other thing is start saying yes in your life. Just
Oh,
start saying yes. Don't have to be someone asks you to a restaurant, let me look up the reviews. Is it a good place? Is it not? I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, stop with the hemming and hawing and start living your life. Start saying yes to things that you wouldn't normally do. Let the voices that are stopping you from moving forward, let them just quiet down a bit and just try one thing new. Okay? Try one thing new and try
mm.
saying yes to something. And if you need any ideas, you can reach out to me. I will give you many, many ideas.
Yes, yes. From your journey discovering yourself, right? You're like, okay, you know, I'm sure I can imagine you experienced so many new things, but
So many
it
new
gave you life.
things. And some of those things are really small. Sometimes it's something as small as like going and getting ice cream. Treat yourself.
Yes.
Fun. We're not talking about like doing earth-shattering things, but
Yeah.
allowing yourself to do fun, new things, just starting to say yes. The more you say yes, the more things will open up. And it's really, really amazing what can happen when we just move even a little bit outside of our comfort zone.
Mm, I so relate with that when I was going through my journey too of like literally having to deal with myself. You know, I was like, let me just be done with relying on other people to bring me joy, bring me happiness. I was attached to so many things to those people.
Mhm.
But I started dating myself. So just
Yeah.
like what you said, I started, you know what? I'm going to go down the street and buy food and eat like with myself, you know? You know what? I'm just going to like literally like something that I enjoy. So, and
Mhm.
not about like what like you know my past partners liked or whatever. It's about me and that had me excited about the end of the day. Like I
Mhm.
can't wait to get off work so I can do this for me. Like I started getting really excited about taking myself on dates basically. So when you
Yeah.
said that, that's what popped up for me. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Go on
Zach said
dates with
self-love. Yes,
yourself.
self-love. Someone just said self-love
Yes.
on the stream. Yeah.
Yes. And Quinn is the
Basically.
expert on self-love. That's what you
Oh,
do.
oh,
Self-love.
you're so lovely. Right? It's from these rock bottom moments, and we had to like literally force ourselves to look inward, and then
Mm-hmm.
you find all these magical things. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you listen or meet other people that are on the same path, you relate so much. You find these truths that are like,
Mm-hmm.
and so when you give value out to the world, when you speak out on podcasts or connect with other people, you know that you're giving value because it's personal. It's real.
Yeah.
It's not just something that you saw in a book. Like, no, like, so
Yeah.
I just love that.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're living it. You're living it. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, you're actually living it. So yes, okay, Yasmin said, number one, live intentionally. Number two, say yes to new things or things you would normally say no to. Number three, get out of your comfort zone. Look at her
Ah,
dropping the
me,
notes
girl.
for
I
you.
love you. Episode
Supporters, I
number
love
3,
it.
listen to her.
Nice. Oh yes, number three right there, Yasmin. All right, our time is up. This was so fun. I literally do not want to stop talking. It's like, it's so amazing.
I could keep going too. This is my favorite thing.
I
I love to
know.
chit chat with my
I
girlfriend.
know. Oh my gosh. Oh, by the way, where can people find your podcast? I'm going to link it up here. Do
Okay,
people
you
just
can
search?
find
Yeah.
it in 2 places. Most people have iPhones. So if you go to iPhones on your podcast app, go to the app
Ah.
called Podcast. Everybody has it because they won't let you delete it. Just go to that
Oh.
app, look up Feminine and Fulfilled, and
Mm.
it'll come up and just hit subscribe, and all the episodes are there. The episodes I mentioned this time were episode 3 and 4.
Mm.
And also, if you have an Android, which I do, then
I
you go
do.
to, oh, you do. Okay, so you'll go to the Play Music app.
Oh, okay. So you literally like
Play.
go to like whatever your app is to listen to music or whatever in audio
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And do the
Okay.
same thing, look up Feminine and Fulfilled, hit subscribe. It's
Oh my
free, it's
gosh.
completely free. And if you want to just listen, if you want to link it up, Quinn, on yours, or if you want to just listen right now, go to thelifeengineer.com/podcast.
Oh, hello,
Um,
her website. Yeah.
and yeah, that's my website too. You can hear all the podcasts there. You can learn more about what I do and how to reach out if you're interested in talking more. And on Facebook, you can find me at Shazia TL.
I love it. Oh my God. Yeah, so excited. Okay, I'm gonna put all the information there.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to share before we end this?
Oh, no, just thanks for having me on. And it's these conversations, have these conversations with your friends. It's the deeper conversations that are going to really, really solidify those relationships. And the more you share, the more somebody else will share. It's really a beautiful thing. So thank you for creating this platform, Quinn, for us to talk and share and just have a great time. It's fun. It's deep. It can be all these things. That's what's awesome.
Yeah, right. And then when you do these things, you gotta love it. You gotta enjoy it. You know? And it's literally like therapeutic, and it empowers me because I'm connecting with someone and we're talking about shit that we believe that matters, right?
Yes.
And not being attached to who's watching. Yeah. And not being attached to who's watching.
I know. I'm like, who is watching?
I saw some of your peeps hop on, so that was awesome. Both of our peeps like jumped on and like, okay. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much, Shazia, for taking the time out to do this. Like, this was a major highlight for me. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being down to be raw and real, because, I mean, that's in your element. This was just so synergistically magical. So, thank you. You're amazing. You inspire me with the whole podcast thing, and I know that we're going to continue to lift each other up, and we're transforming together in this program. And then, anyways, I'm so grateful that I met you, and I'm super, super, super grateful to be connected and just to know even more about some things that you mentioned today. Super grateful that you, you went in detail with like the painful stuff too. And that's, it's powerful when we go there, when we really, really go there.
Yeah. Thank you for those kind words. Thank you, Quinn. It's just, I'm receiving. Thank you. Because normally I'll be like, let me give it all back. But you know what? Thank you. Thank you.
It's a gift. Receive it. Yes. So you guys, I'll see you guys next week. I don't know who I'm going to be interviewing, but we'll see. We'll see who shows up next week. But so we'll see you guys, and thank you again, Shazia. And then bye everyone for watching. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Quinn. Quinn for the win.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.